All rise.
The Kosovo Specialist Chambers is now in session.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, and welcome to this second and last day of the trial preparation conference. Court officer, could you please call the case?
Good afternoon, Your Honors. This is file KAC BC 2023-10, the Specialist Prosecutor versus Sabit Januzi, Ismet Bahtijari, and H.Shala.
Thank you. I would kindly ask the parties and participants to introduce themselves, and we start again with the Specialist Prosecutor's Office. You have the floor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Josh Hafetz on behalf of the Specialist Prosecutor's Office, and I'm joined by my colleagues John Devaney on my left and our case managers Lena Pedersen and Annika Bulldog behind me.
Very well, thank you. I turn to the registry. Deputy Registrar, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, Your Honors. Same constellation as yesterday, me, Jonas Nilsson, Deputy Registrar, together with Legal Counsel, Whitney Price. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I turn to the defense. And could you kindly add, like we did yesterday, to your introduction, who of your team is participating remotely or is present in the courtroom, and likewise for your client. Thank you. And we will start again with the defense for Mr. H.Shala.
Good afternoon, Your Honour. Toby Cadman, Specialist Counsel for Mr. H.Shala. Mr. H.Shala has waived his right to attend for reasons which I believe Your Honours are aware. I'm joined today by John Cubban, Co-Counsel, Isabella Kiwan, Legal Associate, and Admir Barisha, Investigator.
Very well.
All of our team are appearing in court. None of us are appearing remotely.
Thank you, Specialist Counsel. And yes, in conformity with Rule 68 of the rules, your client has waived his right to be present, to participate in this proceeding today. Very well. I turn to the defense for Mr. Bahtijari. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, Your Honours. Today, Mr. Bahtijari is joining through video link from the detention unit. And we also have for video link Ms. Katie Delani and Ms. Philippa Stafford, our administrative associates. In the courtroom is Yuchin Liu, our legal associate, and I am Marion Carin, co-counsel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I turn to the defense for Mr. Januzi. You have the floor.
Your Honour, my name is Jonathan Ellison, Reeks King's Counsel. I'm here as Specialist Counsel for Mr. Januzi, who is attending remotely from the detention unit. My co-counsel, Mr. Hugh Bowden, also attends remotely.
Thank you. Thank you. Very well. As indicated yesterday, we will now issue a set of oral orders, and the following orders are informed by the panel's envisaged date for the commencement of the trial, namely on the 8th of November 2024. And before we begin with the oral orders, the panel wishes to address two preliminary matters which should be addressed in private session. Court officer, can you bring us into private session, please?
Your Honors, we're in public session.
Thank you. Then we will now go to the oral orders, and we have several of them. The first oral order concerns the request for by the defense for Mr. Januzi for adjournment, which is filing 511. And this oral order concerns the request for adjournment submitted by the Januzi defense in paragraph 4 of its filing bearing number 511. The panel notes that the Januzi defense invites the panel to adjourn the intended proceedings after their opening on the 8th of November 2024 until the 13th of November for the first prosecution witness to be called, due to the unavailability of lead counsel on the 11th and the 12th of November 2024, as conveyed to the panel on the 4th of October, so last week. The panel further notes that the Januzi defense does not explain why co-counsel could not represent Mr. Januzi for the first prosecution witness. Therefore, the panel decides that in case of need, Mr. Januzi will be represented by co-counsel, who has previously indicated his availability on the 11th and 12th of November 2024 in filing bearing number 504. Lastly, the panel takes note of the H.Shala defense and the Bahtijari confirmation as regards their readiness and availability to start a trial on Friday, 8 November 2024, with trial hearings in the week of 11 to 15 November, conveyed in their respective filings bearing numbers 509 and 510. And this concludes the panel's first order. The next oral order concerns the modalities concerning the conduct of proceedings and the practice of witness preparation. The panel has taken note of the SPO submissions and proposals on the following issues relating to the conduct of proceedings. 1, the submission and admissibility of non-oral evidence, paragraphs 29 till 32, and 36 and 37 of filing 491. 2, the public character of the proceedings, paragraphs 38 and 39 of filing 491. And the third, the fair and expeditious character of the proceedings, paragraphs 40 and 41 of the same filing. The panel invites the teams to file written submissions, if they so wish, on the aforementioned proposals by the Specialist Prosecutor's Office by no later than Wednesday, 16 October at 4. The panel further invites the defense teams to file submissions, if they so wish, on the practice of witness preparation by no later than Wednesday, 16 October 2024 at 4 o'clock, taking into consideration the submissions of the SPO as they were detailed in paragraphs 16 till 23 of filing 491, as well as the panel's previous practice in the prior cases. This concludes the panel's oral order. The next oral order concerns the defense request for the Januzi defense for the SPO to make available the forensic copies of the mobile telephones of the two witnesses as indicated in paragraphs 5 and 18 of its submissions bearing number 495. The panel has taken note of the parties' further submissions on this matter conveyed during the trial preparation conferences held on Monday, 7 October 2024. The panel notes in particular the SPO submissions that it is not in possession of the forensic copies of the mobile telephones of the witnesses. The panel also notes that the parties agreed to undertake inter partes consultation on this matter and subsequently seek the panel's relevant authorization. And I refer to the transcript of the 7th of October 2024, confidential, page 286, line 19 to page 292, line 5. We have also taken note of the pre-trials judged scope of authorization for the creation of forensic copies of the mobile telephones of the witnesses. And in particular, we refer to paragraph 32 of decision bearing number 141 and paragraph 35 of decision 151. And in light of the foregoing, the panel orders the parties to undertake inter partes consultations and, if they so decide, to file a written joint request seeking the panel's relevant authorization by no later than Thursday, 10 October at 4 o'clock. Any such request shall take the form of a request for assistance pursuant to Article 55, paragraph 1 of the law, and specify, with appropriate justification, the scope of the sought material and information. In addition, the panel orders the SPO to inquire as soon as possible with the External Forensic Institute when such forensic copies of the mobile telephones of witnesses could be made available, and inform the panel accordingly, and by no later than Thursday, 10 October at 4. I will now give, this concludes the panel's oral order. I will now give the panel's next oral order, which concerns admissibility of evidence submitted by the SPO. The panel orders the SPO to submit any request for the admission of non-oral evidence, including concerning the items that are subject to admissibility challenges by the defense, by no later than Tuesday, 15 October 2024. And for reasons of expediousness, the panel further decides, pursuant to Rule 9, Paragraph 5a of the rules, to shorten the time limits for responses and replies as follows. The defense shall file any response to the SPO request by no later than Tuesday, 22 October 2024, so a week after, and the SPO shall file any reply to the defense responses by no later than Friday, 25 October 2024. And this concludes the panel's oral order. The next oral order concerns the filing by the defense teams of their respective lists of witnesses pursuant to Rule 119, Paragraph 1 of the rules. The panel has taken note of the defense team's further submissions conveyed during the trial preparation conferences on Monday, 7 October 2024, as well as in a recent filing by the Januzi defense bearing number 511. The panel noted, notably, that both the Bahtijari defense and the H.Shala defense indicated that their respective lists can be submitted by Monday, 4 November, whereas the Januzi defense indicated that it's able to file its list by Monday, 18 November 2024. The panel also notes that, according to the defense for Mr. Januzi, in its filing bearing number 511, accurate estimations for the time required for the defense case on behalf of Mr. Januzi can be given ahead of the 4th of November 2024. In light of the foregoing, and mindful of the envisaged date for the commencement of the trial, the panel instructs the defense teams to file their respective list of witnesses by no later than Monday, 4 November 2024, and in accordance with Rule 119, paragraph 1 of the rules, each filing must include the total time estimated for the presentation of each defense case, the total number of witnesses who are expected to testify for each accused, including whether the accused himself is expected to appear as a witness in accordance with Rule 142, paragraph 4 of the rules, the name or pseudonym of each witness, a summary of the facts on which each witness is expected to testify, and in case the defense did not have access to the witness, it will have to explain on what it anticipates the witness will testify. The allegations in the indictment on which each witness is expected to testify, including specific reference to charges and relevant paragraphs of the indictment. An indication whether the witness will testify in person or give evidence through other means as provided for by the rules, and the estimated length of time required for direct examination of each witness. In addition, the defense teams are directed to include in their respective filings any requests for protective measures that each witness may require, as well as any request for summons pursuant to Rule 121 of the rules. Furthermore, for reasons of expeditiousness, the panel further decides, pursuant to Rule 9, paragraph 5 under A of the rules, to shorten the time limits for responses and replies to any request for summons, as follows. The SPO shall file any response to the defense requests by no later than Monday, 11 November 2024. And the defense shall file any reply to any SPO responses by no later than Thursday, 14 November 2024. And this concludes the present oral order. The next order concerns the reading of the indictment or its summary at the opening of the case. The panel has taken note of the H.Shala defense and the Bahtijari's agreement that the SPO read the summary of the indictment at the opening of the case, instead of the indictment in its entirety. The panel has taken note of the SPO and the Januzi's defense further submissions conveyed during the trial preparation conference on Monday, 7 October 2024, that they will undertake inter partes discussion on the matter. The panel orders the SPO and the Januzi defense to either file a joint proposal of summary of the indictment or inform that no such proposal was agreed upon no later than Friday, the 1st of November 2024. The panel stresses that if the SPO and the Januzi defense fail to reach an agreement, the indictment will be read in its entirety at the opening of the case pursuant to Rule 124, paragraph 2 of the rules. This concludes the present oral order. Yes, with regard to the SPO request to amend the exhibit list, we have the following briefing schedule. The panel orders the defense teams, if they so wish, of course, to respond to the SPO request, filing bearing number 512, by no later than Friday, 11 October 2024, and the SPO, if it so wishes, to reply to any responses by no later than Tuesday, 15 October 2024. Moreover, the panel has also taken note that according to the SPO, it will file a separate request for the items not yet in its possession and disclose them to the defense team upon their receipt. I refer to the transcript of the 7th of October, confidential, page 341, lines 18 till 25, and filing 512, paragraph 7. The panel has noted in this regard that according to the SPO, said items are of a very limited volume and do not reveal a significant amount of new information. And I refer to the same transcript, page 297, line 25, to page 312, line 13. And in light of the foregoing, the panel orders the SPO to file the relevant request and or disclose the remaining items identified at paragraph 3 and 4 of its submissions filing bearing number 491 as soon as possible. I mean, it has been outstanding, allow me for a while. Furthermore, the panel has taken note of the submissions of the defense for Mr. Januzi conveyed during the trial preparation conferences held on Monday, 7 October 2024, that it is unable to conduct its expert investigations as identified in paragraph 4 of its submissions bearing number 495. Until the SPO discloses any outstanding material relating to the telephones seized. The panel has also taken note that the Januzi defense raised issues regarding the allotment for contracting external investigators, consultants under the KSC legal aid regime. The panel directs the defense for Mr. Januzi to liaise with the registry and the defense office immediately in accordance with the legal aid regulations and Annex C to the legal aid regulations, as well as the guidelines on administration and monitoring of legal aid, in order to make the necessary arrangements, such as secure and expert assistance, to proceed without delay with its envisaged investigations. In this regard, the panel rejects the Januzi's defense submissions that it would only be able to conduct said expert investigations upon disclosure of any outstanding material relating to the telephone seized. Rather, if, following disclosure of the remaining items, additional work by any secured expert is required, the Januzi defense can ask the registry, the defense office, for further funding subject to the ceiling allocated for defense expert investigations. And lastly, the panel has taken note of the defense teams of Mr. Januzi and Mr. H.Shala submissions conveyed during the trial preparation conferences as to their difficulties to access the forensic copies of the six phones seized. And I refer to the transcript of yesterday, page 313, line 6 to page 316, line 17. And in this light, the panel finds it appropriate to instruct the SPO and the registrar to provide technical assistance to the defense teams, including the Bahtijari defense team if necessary, in order to ensure access to said material by Wednesday, 9 October 2024. The panel directs that from now on, the parties and the registry proactively liaise with each other in order to solve such technical issues without delay. And this concludes the panel order. Then we go to the last order. This order concerns the pretrial judge instructions on reclassification in paragraphs 58 under D to G in the order bearing number 469. The panel has taken note that since the transmission of the case to the panel on 4 September 2024, the parties have submitted on a regular basis public redacted versions of their respective filings as instructed by the pretrial judge in the aforementioned order. And the panel finds it appropriate, in order to conclude this exercise, to instruct the parties to submit any outstanding public redaction versions of the relevant filings no later than Monday, the 21st of October, 2024. And this concludes the panel's oral order. Then we are at the list of decisions. Prior to the opening of the case, the panel intends to issue the following decisions. A decision setting the date for the commencement of the trial. The panel recalls that it currently is intending the start of the trial on Friday, 8 November 2024. We will issue a decision on this. The panel thanks you for ensuring your readiness and availability. A decision on witness familiarization and/or preparation will be issued. A decision on the conduct of proceedings. And this decision will include the applicable time limits, such as for the defense team's submissions of their respective proposed list of exhibits, pursuant to Rule 119, paragraph 2 under B of the rules, and a decision on the submission and admissibility of non-oral evidence. At this moment of the hearing, is there anything the parties and the registry would like to raise with the panel? Mr. Prosecutor, you have the floor.
No, Your Honor, that's clear. Thank you.
Nothing from the registry. Thank you.
Defense counsel for Mr. H.Shala.
Nothing at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very well. Defense counsel for Mr. Bahtijari.
No further observations, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Defense counsel for Mr. Januzi.
No, thank you.
Thank you. This concludes the panel's public hearing. I thank the parties and the registry for their attendance. I also wish to thank the interpreters this afternoon and the stenographer and our audiovisual technicians and the security personnel for their assistance. The hearing is adjourned.
All rise.